Hi, today I'm going to show you a quick card, and it's from the Winter Woods stamp set. This is the class that I have getting ready to start, an online class. It'll start in a day or two registration, and it's going to be a quick registration time because we're getting ready to leave on vacation. So I want to place the first order before we leave, so it will be back when we get home, so I can get it out before I go to on stage. Actually, we're going on to vacation in Orlando, and I get back, and then I'm going back to Orlando for on stage with Stampin' Up. But I love this stamp set. Love the stamp set, love the dies that go with it. So today I'm going to use one little die, but I'm going to use some of the stamps. And I am also going to use, you may have missed them in the holiday catalog, I'm going to use the silver of the silver foiled edged cards and envelopes. There are also gold options, which I have a video that we'll post in a couple of days. It's up, but it hasn't been edited yet. It's a Thanksgiving card that we'll use the gold. But these are super fun. You get 40 of them in a package, cards and envelopes, and they're pre-scored. So they're super quick, super handy. I'm just going to fold this in half, see how easy that is, and then you already have your envelope. So you can dress them up, dress them down, however you want. This is the silver. And the nice thing is you can leave it white if you want it white, but you can also just cut the panels to fit, so you just have a silver line. So I have some Highland Heather, I think. Maybe it's Gorgeous Grape when we get down to the ink. It's been a few days since I made the first card. And then I've got my envelope there. So let's get started with this. This is a piece of our vellum cardstock, and I'm going to use that. It's not actually going to be on our card, but I'm going to use it for a mask. So pull my Big Shot up here, and this is just one of our squares from the layering squares. I do have some brand new plates, so they're probably invisible, and they're so staticky, they're stuck together. So I'm just going to take my vellum and lay it here, and then I'm just going to make a mask. So I'm going to lay this on here, and you could put it wherever because it's vellum, so you'll be able to see where you're placing your mask. And you could reuse this multiple times. In fact, I have 2 of them because you may have seen this card if you caught my Facebook Live last week. You know, new plates are creepy. Sounds like you're killing your Big Shot. My Big Shot I have 2 of them, but one of them I've had since the week that Stampin' Up! First started selling them. So it's been a while. So here I've got my, you end up with this little piece that you could save to use for something, but I actually want this piece here. And then this is our glossy cardstock, which we used to have a long time ago, and then it went away for a while, but it's been back for maybe a year. And it's nice because it gives you some time that you can work with your ink. It stays wet for just a little bit longer. So this card is actually inspired by my family's trip to Iceland a couple of years ago. When I look at this tree, I kind of see the, winter, so I'm going to leave the white. My husband's off cleaning in the background, so you may hear him cleaning. This is Mint Macaron, so it was Gorgeous Grape. I knew the cardstock matched the ink. I couldn't remember which color I pulled out. So this is the mint. And these are a little sponge daubers, so I'm going to just take it, stick it on the end of my hand. And I'm going to just lay this here and kind of hold on to it. You don't need to adhere it with anything. And I'm just going to kind of sponge some color on here. But we went to Iceland, and if you go to Iceland, you can see the northern lights. So that was kind of on our thing to do, because that's what you do when you go to Iceland, right? But you have to get up in the middle of the night. And it was the end of our 2-week vacation. We'd started in Scotland. So we were tired. And we would kind of look at the forecast. And there was one night where it was a good chance that we might have seen them. But when we set the alarm for 2:30 in the morning, and it was freezing cold, I'm like, yeah, I can see these things in pictures because there's no guarantee that you're going to see them. So there's my mint macaron. So this is my ode to the northern lights. We're going to see them on my card. We'll just pretend that I saw them in real life. This is Gorgeous Grape. And when you get your sponge daubers, you get 5 to a package. So I just keep them. I often will take a little sticker and just write which color, and then you can keep them, or you can rinse them out. But it's a lot of work to rinse out a little sponge. So I'm going to kind of fill in the white area now. But I'm also going to kind of let it go over the top of where the mint was. And just by holding on to this, the nice thing with the vellum, if it moves, I mean, you could do this with any color of cardstock. It doesn't have to be vellum, but the vellum's a tiny bit thinner, so it doesn't make such a high mark. But also, if my template would move, obviously you could line it right back up because it's see-through. So that's kind of why I went with vellum as my choice. So just kind of put that on there. There's my grape. But then you don't have to attach this with anything. And then last I have my blueberry bushel, which this is an in color. This is the first year. My hands are freezing cold. It makes it harder for me to open because my skin goes funny. And then on this one, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to kind of cover all of this up. I get this nice and inked. And then I'm going to kind of give it this the sky effect over the top. And you can see how it kind of blends it because the glossy does stay wet. But I want the effect that the lights are kind of behind the sky, because I think that's what it might have looked like had we seen it in real life. But since we didn't, this is my artistic impression of what I might have seen. So just drag this on here. And I want blue over most of it, but if a little shows through, that's okay, because then you get a little bit of that color coming through. So I'm kind of pressing lighter with my blue than I did with the other two. And now that I've got some on there, I can put a little bit of some blue back over the blue, and that'll make some of it a little darker, especially up here on the corner, so I get a blue outline. It's fun to work with. You could do this in all different colors, and you can do whole sheets of it. You don't have to do a mask. It doesn't have to be sky, it could be anything. Back when glossy paper was the in thing, we did all kinds of techniques with it. And you can do all kinds of resists, and you can iron things up and take them off. You can do some backwards kind of things, so there's a lot of glossy techniques. So just kind of when you have it where you think you want it to be. On my Facebook, when I did Facebook Live, I didn't spend quite this much time, so that one's not quite as pretty. But you want it kind of, you can see how it's kind of getting to be more skyish. So there we go. Get that out of the way. And then you just lift this up. And then you can see you're left with where it's just got the sky and then kind of the lights behind it. That's the effect I was going for. And then I've got the stamps. This is the words that do come from the stamp. The last card I did was the fall card, and I chose words that did not come with the stamp set, but this one does. And this is just the black memento. So it says, thinking of you this season. But you could make this into a birthday card if you a thank you card you wouldn't have to use. Make it a Christmas card and put that over that. The glossy paper can be a tiny bit slippery, so just if you've not worked with it before, just be careful when you stamp, especially the skinnier words. You don't want to like push hard because they will slide around if you're not careful, because it's a slippier paper. And I've got the largest pine tree out of the set. I'm just going to stamp it part into the sky and then part down onto what I envisioned to be the snow, because there were parts of Iceland when we were there, and this was all really you saw was white everywhere you looked, which was kind of scary when we were out driving. Thankfully, we were pretty much the only people on the road when it was like that. So there you go. And you can see it has some places where there is snow, and so because I've covered that up on the sky part, I'm going to add it back in with some shimmer in a second. So it dries pretty fast, but it does take a second longer to dry. Just going to wave this around a second because I am going to slide it back through the Big Shot, and I'm over here stacking all this stuff up on top of my Big Shot stuff on my blades. So just wave that off, and while I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and adhere this to the back of my card. This on top. After you cut this 5 or 6 times, I found out it was easier to just go ahead and on my paper cutter I wrote down the size that these little panels are, because most of the cards that I've made with these cards and envelopes I have cut a background for. Still a teensy bit wet. Okay, I'm going to pull my Big Shot back up. And then first I'm going to use, this die comes also in the set. This is the only die out of the bundle that I'm going to use, and it's a little like snowscape. So I'm going to take it. Now when you have these brandy plates, now I have 1 cut. Now I'm going to have 2. It's easier the second cut. But I'm just going to add this down here. So I'll have a little bit of snow on the bottom of my card. Push that through. And you can see it just, all it does is it makes a little, you could cut that by hand, but sometimes when you do that, they're crooked. And then I'm going to take, this is one of our older embossing folders, and it's the Softly Falling, and it looks like snow. The new ones would say Stampin' up here, the old ones say Sizzix, but that's the top. So I want it to go through this direction because this will be the way the things go. So it'll look like some snow's falling. There's more dots at the top and they get fewer at the bottom. So I don't want to obliterate my stuff. So I'm going to move it down. So we have more up here and then it gets less and less. And then the newer plates, just folders take 1 of these, but these older ones do take 2. So put 2 of those in. This back through. And we're almost done with this card. This is a quick card. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay, we've got just a couple more accent pieces. This is our glittered organza ribbon. Which is, you know, it's been used a lot for Halloween, but Halloween's just about it. It's not over, but I feel like it is because we're going on vacation. And, you know, once you get in vacation mode, then you start thinking about what's going to be happening when you get back. And when we get back, it will practically be Halloween. So I have one more Halloween thing I'm going to post right when I'm done with this. And then this card for me is going to, I think, move on to being a New Year's. Doesn't it look like New Year's ribbon? A little bit too close, I think. But it also works beautifully for this card. So I know it's on the Halloween pages and everybody thinks it's Halloween ribbon, but it doesn't have to stay that way. If you already have it, keep using it. And if you don't think it's Halloween, so don't stop looking at those pages of the catalog, because there's still lots of things that you can use on those pages. So tie my bow there. That way you can kind of put it where you want and kind of mess with it that way. That off. I'm going to take my adhesive, and I don't want it to stick necessarily right underneath the bow. I'm going to go like that. And pull these that way, and the glitter is really pretty against the white. It might be harder for you to see, so make sure you hop over to my website. I always put the still photos over there for you to see. Because sometimes when I hold these up to the light, it doesn't capture it all the way. And then just flip your card back around. It saves you a little bit of ribbon, and it also makes your card a little less bulky. Well, it would make it a lot less bulky, except I cut mine almost as big as if I tied it. And then go ahead and adhere this. I want to make sure that right there where that ribbon is that I get some adhesive. And then you can take a little bit of adhesive over here, or a glue dot would work better, but I don't have any sitting right here. And then you can kind of form your bow to go where you want. If you're going to put this in an envelope, then use a glue dot. But then you can get your bows to go exactly where you want them to go. And they don't look cattywampus, especially if you feel like you're bow challenged, because I know some people do. So there's that. And then two last things. I have the frosted and clear epoxy droplets. So if you watched the last card that I made with this same set, I used the same folder. I used a lot of the same stuff. And I used these and I colored them with blends. So they were actually copper and black. But this time I'm going to use the frosted ones. So I'm just going to pull, and I'm not going to color them because they're really pretty frosted. And when you color them, they kind of lose the frosted effect. They color a little bit differently, but it's my husband, and I would complain because he's making noise. He has headphones on, but he's cleaning, so I'm just going to let him make the noise. I think he's carrying cleaning supplies up the stairs, so we're going to let him go with that, huh? If I can stamp and he can clean, that's a good deal. Okay, and then this is our frosted white shimmer. Oops. And then this is just an old Wink of Stella. And I just keep them because they're perfect for using this. So here's, you can see where the snow is on these and the white showing through. Those are easy to get. You don't want to cover the black back up because the black on the of the tree is part of what's pretty. But then up here where it went through the sky, you do want those to be white again, otherwise it looks like only part of your tree's got the snow on it. So just kind of mash those back over. And you have to put a little bit, not thick, but a daub of the shimmer for it to show, like, so you don't still see the sky through. But then it looks like there's snow everywhere. And it gives your card a nice shimmer effect. You don't need to daub quite as much down here because you don't want to cover up the black down there. But that's it. How pretty is that? So if you love this stamp set, then you do want to make sure that you're either on my email list or head over to my website in the next day or two. Probably on Monday because I'm not quite ready, and you know it's the weekend, so I don't want to work all weekend, although I do have to work some this weekend because we're going on vacation. But it will be my online class. So all you do is buy the stamps, the die, and I think I have 2 of the cards done. The other one's not all the way finished, but you buy mostly the stamps, the die, and then like 2 other products, usually stamp pads. And then you get all of the supplies and access to 3 videos. So you make 3 projects with me, along with me at home. So this will be the featured stamp set. I should have pulled some of my other cards, but I had camp last night and 3/4 of my stuff made it up, but there's still a quarter downstairs that has to be carried up. So, but if you head to my website, you can see all of my Winter Woods things that I have so far. I do have one here. I have this. Oh, if I can reach it. Oh, maybe I can't reach it. It's just that this is one of the projects that will be, and you can see it uses the silver, but it's one actually of my projects for the online class. So if you do the class, this will be one of the things you make. And you might not have this die set, but that's okay because when you get your kit, it's already cut out for you. So that'd be one of the ones that you make, and you get full video instructions and you make it right along with me. So love this bundle. Hope you do too. Have a great day. Bye.